Hello guys, my name is Nicholas from Exolvate Games team and welcome to a new C++ Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Today we are in part 3 of making Spatial Inventory System. In the previous video we drew a few lines in our inventory to make it look more like a spatial inventory rather than just an empty object. In the next two parts we will implement the logic for adding items to the items array that we will create and that will store our items that we picked. I'll be following the approach taken by raids, meaning I'll be only adding 3 items: a gun, a knife and a grenade. These items won't have any special functionality like shooting or throwing, since that's not the focus of this short series. So yeah, I think that should cover everything, so let's begin the work. Hello guys, welcome back to part 3 of making Spatial Inventory System. Like I said, we are going to make the pickup logic for our items, and also after that we are going to store it in our items array that we are going to create later. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to divide it into two parts. So in this first part I'm going to create items that we are going to pick up and declare some of the functions that we are going to use. So basically let's do that right now. But let me in the short lines explain you the way we are going to do that. So basically we are going to create item-based parent class that will be basically the parent class of our child classes that we will create later. And what I mean by that, we are going to create item-based class, and we are going to implement some of the functions and some of the variables inside that. Later, when we create a child class of that item base, or basically the child class for each item that we want in our game, basically those child classes will inherit all the functions and all the variables that we declared in that item base. Okay, so for now I think that that is enough, so let's do that right now. Okay, so let me just launch my Unreal Engine, because I closed it when I finished the previous part. Okay, so I'm going to do that by clicking Ctrl plus F5. And yeah, let me just click on this dismiss, and okay, go to your content drawer, and here we need to create a new class that, like I said, will be a parent class of our child classes that will represent each item in our game. So that that new class needs to be a type of an actor. So Raids in his course used the approach of creating two classes and not one. The one is actor and the other one is U object. Basically the actor class represents the visual representation when the item is on the ground, and the U object, yeah, the other class will be a type of a U object, and that class will be actually the data stored for that item. So okay, that approach Rates used in his course, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do two things in one class. I'm going to use it as a visual representation when our items is on the ground actually, and I'm going to declare some of the functions, and I'm going to store the data inside that. So yeah, you get the point. Just click on this actor and then click on next. I'm going to name it item base, and I suggest you to name it yeah, item base also. So just click on this create class, and let's wait a little bit. Okay, now we need to go to our code editor. So you will see that we have these two files, so itembase.header and itembase.cpp. Now here in the .header file, the first thing that I'm going to do is to just delete those comments. And I'm going to delete this public right here, because I don't want to have two publics, and I'm going to copy and delete this override tick function, and I'm going to paste it here below the first public. Okay, Now, the next thing that we need to do is to basically declare some of the variables. And basically, let me just now explain the things that we are going to do. Like I said, we are going to create the item base, or basically the parent class of our items, where we are going to declare some of the variables and some of the functions that the child classes will inherit. Okay, and later we are going to use those child classes to create blueprint classes. And basically, those blueprint classes in the editor are going to help us to set the static mesh for our item, because, like I said, we need a visual representation for our items. So that will be an item that is laying on the ground. So for that, if we want to do that, we need to declare some of the variables, and those variables will be for the components that we are going to create in order to set the static mesh, and also we are going to declare the variable for the other one component, and that will be for sphere collision. Basically, that sphere collision component will help us to see if our character is overlapping with our item, and if it's overlapping, our character will pick up that item. Another thing that the blueprint class from our child classes is helping us is that we are just going to drag our item for our content drawer and drag it to the environment so we can pick it up. So yeah, you get the point. You will see later what I mean, and I will explain it again. So the first variable that we need will be a type of useStaticMesh component. And I will just name it mesh. You can name it static mesh or something like that. And we are going to give it a specifier of edit anywhere. So that is very important, or we wouldn't be able to set a static mesh. So just type u property and edit anywhere. And the next thing, like I said, we need a variable for our component that is called sphere collision. Or basically that is a sphere collision, yeah, let's do that right now. So that will be a type of u sphere component, and I'm going to name it sphere. We need to import this class in order to use it, so we are going to do that here above this u class. So just type class and then paste that class right here. And I think that for now this is good enough. Let's go back. Let's go now to our .cpp file, and here in the constructor we need to do some work. And before that, I want to say that the main difference between the constructor and begin play is that constructor is being initialized when we compile our engine. So yeah. Okay, in order to use those components, we need to create default sub-objects for them. So the first one will be mesh, and the second one will be sphere. So let me just copy this mesh. We need to type mesh equals create default sub-object. And like I said, if you don't understand it now, later I'm going to explain it to you better with an example. So don't worry about that. And now we need this less greater sign, and in between them we need a class of our variable. So that will be this useStaticMesh component class. So just copy and paste it like that, and we need a name of our component. I will name it just mesh. You can name it static mesh or something like that. It's on you. And now we need to do that for sphere component. I'm just going to copy and paste it like this. I'm just going to type here sphere, and we need a different class because we are doing that for sphere variable. So we need this useSphere component class, and I'm going to set the name to be something like sphere, or you can name it sphere collision. Okay, okay. So now we need to set this mesh component to be the root component to be the root component. Actually, you will see later what I mean by that. Okay, so just type mesh and then this minus greater sign, setup attachment, and then we need to type root component, and by that we are going to set our mesh component to be the root component, and now we need to set our sphere component to be basically the child class of our mesh component. And I'm just going to type, let me just copy and paste it like this. Then I'm going to type mesh, and by this we are going to set the sphere component to be the child component of our mesh component. So here you need to just type mesh, and we get this red line right here, because we need to include a library that is holding that class. So you can find it in components folder. So just type components and then slash sphere component.h, and the red line will disappear. And the last thing that we need to do is to basically disable the collision of our mesh and I will show you later what it is. Just type mesh and then this minus greater sign, set collision enabled, and we need to get the e-collision enabled enumeration, and we need no collision. So now I think that we can actually test out. In order, I want to explain you what we did here. So let's go to our Unreal Engine and click on this icon right here, because we can make some changes in our code editor. Okay, we don't have any errors. And the first thing that we are going to do is to open our content drawer, and like I said, we are going to first create the child C++ classes from our item-based class, and later we're going to create blueprint classes from that child classes. Okay, so right click on this item-based class, and then we need to click this create C++ class derived from item base. So don't click on this create blueprint class yet. We are going to do that later for our child classes. So just click on it, and I'm going to name it IB, shortcut for item base, and then underscore. The first item will be AK-47. Okay, and I'm going to click on create class. Okay. Now I'm going to do that for our knife and for our grenade. So just right click on it, create C++ class. I'm going to name it IB underscore knife. And the last class that we need will be a grenade. So let's just wait a little bit. Okay. And like I said, the last class will be IB underscore grenade. So just create class. Okay, and now the first thing that we are going to do is here in our inventory files folder, we are going to create a separate folder. Just right click, then click a new folder, and I'm going to name it blueprints actually. You can name it weapons or something like that. So basically here we are going to store the blueprint classes from our C++ child classes. So let's do that right now. Okay, let's first create the blueprint class for our AK-47. So right click on it and then create a blueprint class based on IB AK-47. We are going to store it here in the inventory files and then this blueprints folder, and I'm going to name it BP underscore AK-47. Okay, so just click on this create button. And I'm going to close this for now. We're going to do that for the rest of our classes. So the next one is IB knife. or actually I be create. So right click on it, then create a blueprint class, and then we need to store it inside this blueprints folder. I'm going to name it bp underscore grenade. Okay, so create, and I need, or basically we need to do that for knife too. So right click on it, create a blueprint class, and then I'm going to name it bp knife, and we are going to store it inside the blueprints folder. So just click on create, and okay, so our classes are made, or basically our blueprint classes. So let me just explain you the thing that I explained before, but now I can explain you it with an example. So let's go to our blueprints folder, and let's just open this AK-47, click on this open full blueprint editor, and yeah, so let me just go to my code editor, and you will see this message right here. Just click on reload all, and let me just go to my item-base.cpp. Okay, so these two lines of code are basically we are creating the default sub-objects, or basically we are creating components inside our classes. So if you take a closer look, let me just go, you see that we created these two components, and yeah, we did it by those two lines. The next thing is we are actually setting our mesh. We are setting our mesh to be the root component, and if you take a closer look, you will see that our mesh is basically the root component. And the next thing that we are doing is that we are attaching our sphere component to our mesh component. So let me just set something for our mesh and explain you why we did this. So let me just do something like this. Let me just get this code, and let's okay, never mind. So okay, this, like I said, this sphere collision component will help us to see if our character is colliding with our item, and if he's colliding, he needs to pick that item. Okay, so basically we are colliding with that item. Okay, and basically if we don't attach it to our mesh, when we move our mesh will be just moved. So yeah, I know that it is a little bit confusing, but let me show you. So you see that we did this like that. So let me just show you. If we move our mesh component, you will see that our sphere collision is moving too. So yeah, we did that. Okay, because for example, later if you want to maybe enable physics, and you want from your item to be able to get moved by I don't know, from some force, maybe if you don't attach your sphere component, you wouldn't be able to basically trigger this sphere component, and yeah, that's the thing why we are doing that. So by that, I don't know, if you want to use this system, just do like that, and you can avoid some behavior that you do not want. So you get the point. Okay, and let me see the last thing that we did. So we just disable collision of our mesh. Okay. So let me just show you. If we drag our blueprint class like this, and if I begin the simulation, you will see that we are not colliding with that item, and yeah, you will see that I'm going throughout it. So that's the thing why we did that. Okay, so for now I'm going to import first-person shooter bundle, and in that bundle there's many static meshes that I'm going to use for my items. So That is this bundle right here that you can find on the fab. I'm going to import it, so make sure to import it, and yeah, see you when it's done. Okay, and one thing that I want to help you about is basically the bundle that we want to import is basically for the older versions. So the thing that you are going to do that is click on this show all projects, and basically you need to find your project that where you want to import your bundle. So in my situation it is a grid inventory, and here you need to click on this arrow, and you need to select this 4.27. So just click on it, and then just click on this add to project. Okay, so now when our bundle is imported, you will see that we have this fps underscore weapon underscore bundle folder. So the first thing that we are going to do is to basically set the static meshes for our items. So go to your inventory files folder, and then this blueprints folder, and I'm going to delete this cone because it is really ugly. So I'm going to just here search for AK, or basically it is named KA47. Okay, this KA, and I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Okay, something like this. I'm going to compile and save it. I'm going to do that for grenade. So just click on open full blueprint editor, go to your viewport, and click on this mesh on the left side in the components panel. Here from the drop down menu we need to search for grenade. Okay, so you see that this is a static mesh for our grenade, and we are going to do that for our knife blueprint. And for some reason my Unreal Engine along with my OBS crashed again. I don't know the reason, but I needed to just delete my my knife class, and I'm going to create a new one. So here I'm going to do the same process again. Okay, I'm going to name it BP underscore knife. I'm going to store it here in the blueprints folder. So I'm going to create it, and thing that I'm going to do is here in the mesh I'm going to set the mesh to be my knife from the weapon, from the FPS bundle that we have imported. So you will see this static mesh right here. Okay, I'm going to rotate it a little bit, and I'm going to drag it into our environment. That's the thing why we are creating a blueprint classes from our child classes, because we need to be able to drag them into environment. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to pick them up. Okay, so I'm going to drag them like this. So you see these items. Okay, I'm going to drag them like this, and this knife also. And if we begin simulation, you will see that we have these items. So cool. Okay, so now we need to create a begin overlap function for our items. Basically the sphere component, when we overlap with our items, the sphere component will get triggered, and that begin overlap function that we created, or basically that we will create, will trigger the logic that we will write. So yeah, let's do that right now. Let's go to our code editor. Okay, and we are going to do that inside our grid inventory character. Okay, and let me just check into my other project. Now we need to declare a new function. Like I said, we need the onBegin overlap function that will be triggered every time when we overlap our sphere component, or basically our item. So we need to type a new function, and this is very important. Otherwise, for some reason, your onBegin overlap function won't work. So don't forget this new function, and just type void onBegin overlap, And we need some of the parameters inside this onBegin overlap function. So without those parameters, our function won't work. I'm just going to copy and paste them. I'm not going to explain what each one do, because we don't want we are not going to use all of them. We are just going to use this other actor, and basically this other actor parameter is the actor that we are overlapping it with. Okay, so you get the point. Now we need to create a definition for our onBegin overlap. So just right click on it, and then quick actions and refactorings, and then create definition of onBegin overlap. And this is a pretty bad place for our function. We are going to move it down there. Okay. And let me see my other project. Okay, and the thing that we are going to do is to basically cast to our item base function, because we want the behavior where we are going to be able to just pick the items that are basically inheriting the class of item base. That will be the child classes that we have created, and that will be these classes right here: IBA, IB, AK-47, knife, and grenade. So let me just go to my grid inventory character.cpp and just type a item base, and then this asterisk right here. I'm going to name it item to add, or basically just an item, and I'm going to type it cast and then less greater sign. Between them we need a class that we are casting to, and now we just need to type other actor, and we have this red line right here because our A item base class is undefined, and we need basically to include that item base file. So just here below this includes, we need to type hashtag and then include. We need to type item base.h, and our red line will disappear. Okay, as you see, our red line disappeared. And now we need to check if the item that we are overlapping with is basically the type of A item base, or basically if it's a child of this class right here. So to test it out, I'm going to just print a simple string. So you can do that by typing gengine and then this minus greater sign, and just type add on screen debug message. So just like that, type -1, and then let's say for 5 seconds the color of our print string will be red, and the text will be maybe something like I don't know, item is picked up. Okay, let's just do that. Let's just type like that. Okay, and let's test it out. So go to your Unreal Engine. Let's first compile our code, because we can make some changes, and let's wait a little bit. Our build failed, and let's see what the problem is. Okay, so the one thing that I totally forgot is to basically bind the onBegin overlap function with the character that is going to trigger that animation. So basically that is our grid inventory character, or basically the third person character that will trigger that sphere component, sphere collision component for each item. And basically, yeah, we need to do it right now, and we are going to do that here in the constructor. So here below this inventory component initialization, we need to type get capsule component, and we need this minus greater sign, and now we need to type on component begin overlap. And we need to type then add dynamic, and don't, oops, not that, but just add a dynamic. Okay, now we need to type. Don't worry if below this add dynamic is a red line, it will work, so don't worry about that. Now we are specifying class that it is going to trigger that function, and this is this class right here. So, and the function that we are binding with our character will be inside a grid inventory character, because we have specified or basically declared that function here in the grid inventory character class right here. Okay, and we just need to type on begin overlap. Okay, so now we need to just test it out. So let me just launch my Unreal Engine. Okay, there's not any errors. Okay, so that's cool. If we try to just basically overlap or basically pick up our weapons, you will see that the print string in the top left corner will be shown up, and basically yeah, that's basically a sign that our onBegin overlap function is working, and we did that work. So yeah, very cool thing that we did in this part. Okay guys, that will be it for this part. I think that this is good enough. We have made the visual representation for our items. So in the next part we are going to basically create a logic for backend, or basically the backend logic for adding item into our items array, or basically into our inventory, so that items array will correspond with our grid inventory one to one. So basically each tile will represent one space in our items array. Okay, so that will be it. Oh, don't forget to subscribe, to leave a like, and the most important thing that I want from you is if anything is unclear, don't forget to comment down below, and our team is going to help you. So see you in the next part.